For better or for worse, defenses are still a part of fantasy drafts, but that does not mean you should be taking one early. I have 3 defenses for you to take after the top 10 have gone off the board. Let's go. I just want to start off with this. If you are brand new to fantasy, if this is your first draft, maybe it's your second one, please, for the love of God, do not take more than one defense. There's no reason to. If you're worried about who's going to be my backup when my other team's on bye, don't worry about it. You'll pick somebody else up and start them. With that out of the way, let's kick things off with my first defense that I am targeting, and that is the Los Angeles Chargers, who are going off the board as the 11th defense according to Fantasy Pros ADP. When you're talking about a defense that was already pretty talented last year, and then they go out and get Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson, 2 absolutely huge additions to that defensive side of the ball. They also have Austin Johnson and Sebastian Joseph Day sitting there on the defensive line to help beef things up there. And then we look at their opening schedule. The first 2 games are a little iffy, kicking things off with the Raiders and the Chiefs. The Raiders I'm not that worried about, especially if Darren Waller isn't back. It could potentially take this team, a couple of weeks to get into the swing of things with the additions they made, with all the offseason changes that happened. The Chiefs are the Chiefs, but then after that, they get the Jags, the Texans, and the Deshaun Watson-less Cleveland Browns. Next up is going to be the Eagles. Now, much like the Chargers, a lot of new talent coming in on the defensive side of the ball. They got James Bradbury to pair with Darius Slay, brought in Hassan Reddick to help with that pass rush. They drafted Jordan Davis and Nakobe Dean as well. They're obviously in a softer division, and they have the second easiest schedule in the NFL according to Sharp Football Analysis, which looks at the projected win totals of the opponents they're going to face this year. So it's not looking back at what the teams they did last year. It's looking at going forward. So their first 4 games also against Detroit, Minnesota, Washington, and Jacksonville. Last and certainly not least, we have the Cleveland Browns. This is probably my top target if I'm looking at defense, especially for early on. If you're going to be streaming your defenses, everyone's going to be looking past them because of the Deshaun Watson suspensions keeping him out for the first 11 games. But their opening schedule is what streaming dreams are made of. They have the Panthers, the Jets, the Steelers, and the Falcons. The first 2 games against the Panthers and the Jets, they have totals of 41.5 and 42.5, which is pretty low. They have talent on every level of that defense. They were in the bottom half of the league in terms of points allowed. They allowed the 5th fewest total offensive yards, and they had the 9th most sacks last season. This is a really solid defense that you're going to be able to get with the last pick in your draft. Now, if you're in a league with a bunch of owners who are going to be waiting on defense, as you should, if you play with kickers, kicker and defense should be your last 2 draft picks. But if you're in a league full of people who are waiting, if teams like the Colts and the Saints fall, those are ones I'd be willing to take a little bit earlier. Not anything crazy. You're not taking a defense in the 11th, 12th round, anything like that. But if they go maybe like the 14th round, I'd look at grabbing them there. But do not reach on any defense. Wait and hold out. Let other people grab defenses so you can load up on players that are going to be way more valuable to your lineups with running backs and receivers. I hope this was helpful. If it was, please hit us with a sub and a like. You can also join our Discord. Link will be in the description. Absolutely free. We're going to be talking redraft, DFS, dynasty, betting, props, all of it. You're going to have all that over there. Jump in and join the TFA community. See you then.